I got some bad news. You guys have been down here without your phones. Tom Hanks has coronavirus. They announced it. Tom Hanks has... And nobody cares, you fucking monsters? America's father has coronavirus? This shit just got real for me. I didn't care. I didn't care. I was like, kill all the old people you want, but you don't touch Forrest Gump. You motherfucker. My dad belongs to a church. He's a deacon in a church. He's a deacon in a church. He said none of the people in the church want to do communion or holy water because they're scared of catching coronavirus. I was like, oh, man, this faith in God shit goes out the window real fast, doesn't it? When there's a virus on the table. The Lord is my shepherd. Unless it's a flu, then I don't trust him. I was out the other night with my buddy Paulie. We were in a bar, and everybody we met was real, like, dingy. You know, we were meeting a lot of whack jobs, and I turned to him, and I go, why is everybody so whacked out in this bar right now? And he goes, coronavirus. These are the fearless. This is the bottom of the barrel. The ones with nothing to lose. I think Netflix started coronavirus. I do. I think Netflix started coronavirus because I think Netflix was like, we got 487 TV shows coming out next Tuesday. We need people inside. Netflix has 5,000 fucking movies and TV shows on it. I'm not in one of them. Not in one of them. I hope everybody gets this goddamn disease. Out of spite, so I finally have a shot in this business. Cancel St. Paddy's Day. Cancel St. Paddy's Day parades. I love that it took a deadly virus for people to realize St. Paddy's Day parades aren't a good idea. Why couldn't this happen during SantaCon? That's my question. SantaCon, right? What a way to make the Jewish people of New York feel comfortable. It's a bunch of Christians in Santa suits, shit-faced and screaming. I live in the East Village, major SantaCon place. 10 a.m., it was popping this year. Santa's everywhere, screaming, drinking, causing a ruckus. 4 p.m. hit, nothing. Dead, quiet, because these pussies can't handle their alcohol. And let's be honest, they don't have the balls to do cocaine, okay? You put on a Santa suit and you're not doing blow, you're a fucking pussy. You're a fucking pussy. If I put on a Santa suit, I'm getting a bag. We're riding high. Yeah, I'm going to be awake for a while, trust me. I'll be up so long, I got to put on a bunny suit. I'm going to hit Easter Sunday. Did you see they hung a Nazi flag at that Bernie rally? Yeah. Yeah. Nazis hung a swastika flag. Well, I guess that's the only kind of Nazi flag. At a Bernie rally, and all the news was saying, well, this is an act of anti-Semitism. And I was like, I'm not sure it is. Nazis are real dumb. And they have a way of twisting anything into being Nazi shit. All right? Like when I was 18, I went to an Offspring concert, and there was Nazis there. Okay? And I know what you're thinking. Finally, a hatred I can agree with the Nazis on. No. They weren't there against the Offspring. They were there for the Offspring, and they were twisting Offspring lyrics into white supremacy meanings. Like Nazis were walking around going, pretty fly for a white guy. White. He didn't say black, he said white. We're the flyest. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're at a Bernie rally like, I like how this Jew gets how I hate Jews. He's good. He's good. He doesn't come right out and say it, but he gets it. This is how childish our news is, okay? This is how childish the news is. I read about that story on CNBC's website, okay? And they said an image was captured that's circulating of a swastika flag hanging at a Bernie Sanders rally, but they wouldn't show the image. They wouldn't show the image in the article. News does that all the time. They go, hey man, something real fucked up happened, and we got a picture of it, but we're not going to show you because we're afraid you'll be offended. No! Show me the picture so I don't end up on some government list because I'm Googling Jew Nazi swastika party. Show me the goddamn picture. You'll read a story, it'll be like, a man was caught on video giving oral sex to a crocodile. It is wild. We're not going to show you, though. You'll find that shit on your own. Thanks, news, for forcing me onto the dark web. Because now I can't get a crocodile getting its pussy eaten out of my fucking head right now. It's stuck in my head, I gotta see it. Biden's in the lead now. Yeah, Biden's in the lead now. Come on, you knew it was going to happen? You knew it was going to happen? He's an asshole. And that's what people like in a leader. We like assholes to lead us. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's the truth. Every president we've ever had has been an asshole. Trump is not the first. Trump's just the first to come out with his dick in his hand like, yo, I'm a fucking asshole. You're like, I didn't know you could do it like that. All right. Biden is a dick. Remember that woman was like, you rub my shoulders. He was like, I didn't rub shit, bitch. Get the fuck out of my face. She just went away. People were like, I like this guy. This is a leader. They're all assholes. There's just different shades of asshole. Trump, Bush, they're cowboy assholes. Obama, JFK, they're boat assholes. They're smooth with their asshole. That's the only difference. JFK was an asshole. JFK would have came in your house like this. How you doing, sir? It's a pleasure to meet you. I plan on fucking your daughter this evening. All right, son, you got my vote. Speaking of assholes, Alex Jones, yeah, just got a DWI. Just got busted, DWI. Here's my question. How did the cops know he was drunk? Because when he's dead sober, he sounds like he's on meth. I think the cops were like, I got Alex Jones here, and he's making perfect sense. I think he's shit-faced. We're bringing him in. What do you think Alex Jones drinks? Wouldn't it be great if he just drank White Claw? He's in a bar like, Sandy Hook never happened! Can I have another ruby grapefruit, please? Thank you. That's great. The children are lying! You know what I miss about yellow cabs? What? You can't get a good fingering going on in the backseat of an Uber, can you? You can't. Don't groan. It's true. Remember the backseat of a yellow cab? It was like international waters back there. People were sucking and fucking and doing blow. You can't finger in a guy's Prius. You can't do it. You're gonna get a bad rating. I never give less than 5 stars. I always give 5 stars. The guy could be driving against traffic on the freeway, firing a Glock out the window. I'm like, 5 stars. I don't know what kind of day he's having. I'm not trying to get anybody deported. He was probably a doctor where he used to live. I feel bad. I always give 5 stars, unless when I'm getting out of the car, the driver goes, give me 5 stars. Then I'm like, you son of a bitch, how dare you tell me how to 1 star, and I hope you send him back to wherever he came from. Where's the ice button on this app? And I also don't care for the way Lyft talks to me. I don't like Lyft's tone in its text updates. It's always talking to me like it's my Guido boyfriend from Staten Island. Be ready outside. Anthony is 2 blocks away. Don't talk to me like that, Lift. I don't have time for the bullshit, Angela. Get your ass outside. We're late. My mother's waiting. All right, guys, I got to go. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Take care.